And a very big hello to you and welcome to techPLUS, our weekly rundown of all the biggest tech news. And once again, a lot has happened. Also welcoming Kaine. Hello, Kaine.
Hey, Eon. Welcome back to another week, eh?
Yes, how was your week so far?
Yo, it's been a busy week, but in terms of tech news, quite a lot of stuff happening in Ukraine even, you know?
Yeah.
That's mad.
But you know what I like? You know that with that big, what was it, a volcano somewhere? Overseas?
Yes.
What's the place's name? Obviously, I can't remember now. But
no
anyway,
idea.
Elon Musk sent his internet satellites to go and help the people there because they were all disconnected.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, it's not with a P. P something.
You know what's also interesting? Someone obviously got a bit riled up on Twitter and he thought, you know what, I'm going to let Elon Musk, know what I think about him. So he went on there and he started flaming, Elon, you have so much money and all, and you're so focused on colonizing Mars. Why didn't you just help Ukraine and help them get some internet service? And he's like, Ukraine access to Starlink has now been enabled for free.
Yes, I saw that.
His response.
Oh, that's actually so cool. I was going to say he sent it to Ukraine as well. The internet satellites,
which I think is really cool.
That's very nice of him.
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
Yeah, well, what when you get his PR department, or maybe he was on his Twitter, I don't know, but I would assume his PR department or someone might have seen that and said, you know what, this is a great opportunity to create some publicity, because what if he said no? Like, no, I'm not doing that.
That would have been bad.
Yeah,
I don't think you really have a choice.
I think they were planning on doing it and then used that maybe as an opportunity because it was a really good rebuttal. I even speak with the clients that I work with and things like that. When something negative happens or someone jumps out and is negative towards you, you actually ascertain a lot of power to convert that negativity into something positive by, targeting what they say. They might say you never listen or you never do certain things, and then you do them. And that can create something positive out of a very negative comment. Yeah. And that's a great example of how that can be done. It was negative all the way up until he answered it, and then it's tremendously positive.
See, you have the power to swing it around.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like the way you think. That's very true. Wish more people would think like that.
Also, speaking of Ukraine, did you know they started accepting some cryptocurrency for donations? Did you hear about that?
No.
So they started accepting a few various cryptocurrencies to allow people to donate to them, and they also recently accepted Dogecoin for donations. And the Ukrainian government has raised over $35 million already through 35,000 crypto asset donations since the start of the Russian invasion.
Yo, that's nice.
How powerful is that?
That's so awesome.
Now, my question is, Eon, if you had...
Were you going to call me Elon? Because what a compliment.
That's not a bad thing, actually,
yes, please call me Elon from now on. So you just... all you have to do is add an L, and then it's Elon.
And it's done.
I'll take it. Thank you.
If you had crypto, let's say you had a couple $1 million worth of crypto, would you donate to Ukraine?
Yes. As sure as I would. I think, why not, See, you brought your leaf blower again. Every week this time, the leaf blower guy is here with us.
I did some math yesterday. I was having a chat with some of my friends, and we had a look at how much Jeff Bezos has contributed to donations towards charities. And he's contributed $100 million to charities.
Wow.
But his net worth is $249 billion. Ugh. So if you take the total amount that he's contributed to charities and you figure out its percentage in proportion to his total net worth, he's given away 0.04% of his net worth to charity.
Just his interest.
So if you had a few $1 million, how much would you donate?
I don't know.
Would it be 10%, 5%, 1%?
If you already have everything in your life, why not? I would imagine if you already have the car you want and the house you want and everything, I would probably give a lot.
Really, eh?
Yeah, if they're really, if it's really a good cause as well.
Because on Wednesday, Ukraine expanded the number of cryptocurrencies it is accepting for donations toward its military as Russia invades. On Wednesday, the Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine said people can now send Dogecoin as a donation. It's funny because Elon has obviously been surrounded by Dogecoin quite frequently, talking about it. It's very meme coiny. And it was funny because the Prime Minister went onto Twitter and he said, Dogecoin exceeded Russian ruble in value. We start to accept donations in meme coin. Now even meme can support our army and save lives from Russian invaders. Doge owners of the world. And he tagged Elon Musk. Let's do it. And then they shared their official Doge wallet, which had 7,000 comments and a few thousand retweets already. And then even Uniswap. Do you know what Uniswap is?
No.
So Uniswap is what we call a decentralized exchange.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly, it's a difficult statement to kind of digest. So something like Luna would be a centralized exchange for one reason and one reason only, because Luna owns the exchange, and Luna makes sure there's enough money in the exchange for you to sell or buy your bitcoins whenever you need to. Luna even employs people, and so does Binance, employs third parties to make sure that there's what we call liquidity available in the exchange. And a decentralized exchange is someone that isn't necessarily owned by one central person and isn't necessarily provided liquidity by that centralized person. It's a decentralized environment, meaning many people make sure that the ecosystem can run, and there's no central authority dictating what happens where and what goes on here. So Uniswap Labs said that to ensure that everyone who wants to donate ERC20 tokens to the Ukrainian government can do so, they built an interface that swaps any cryptocurrency token for ETH and sends it directly to the Ukrainian government in a single transaction.
That's nice.
So if you don't have Dogecoin or Bitcoin or Litecoin or any of the accepted currencies, but you have some crypto, you can just go to Uniswap, use their interface, and basically send any currency that Uniswap supports to Ukraine, and they'll do the rest automatically.
Wow, that's nice.
It's nice to see people stepping in like this.
I like it.
It really is. And 35,000 donations, right, made up $35 million worth of money.
And counting.
And there's a lot of people in the world. 35,000 isn't that much. But it still shows the power of decentralized currency.
I'm sure it's climbing as we speak.
It is. If Ukraine undergone the same issue prior to 2012, how would you donate to Ukraine?
Exactly.
How would you?
Would
you send an overseas bank transfer?
Probably.
Would your country restrict you from doing it in the event that lots of money is leaving the country?
Probably.
With crypto,
so crypto is really making it much easier.
That makes a big difference.
Thank goodness for crypto.
And in minutes.
In minutes,
in minutes. Didn't take days or hours or years. It took minutes.
Yo, that's so cool.
And it wasn't one person who was collecting money and sent it. It was 35,000 individuals that just went to their wallet and sent money and supported a cause. Yeah. I think that really stands on its own 2 feet.
It really does. Kaine.
Yes.
You saw the story on TikTok about TikTok.
I saw the story on TikTok about TikTok. What story did I see?
Not physically on TikTok, but TikTok on Monday extended their
I know what you're
what do you call that? The duration,
the max limit of a video.
Yes.
The max
So
video length.
what was it? It was.
I believe the longest it went to 1 minute, 1 minute and a half, and then it went to 3 minutes. So I believe 3 minutes was the current maximum.
That was
video
still
length.
good. Even 3 minutes is a bit long for a TikTok.
It is a bit long.
Now guess how long it is now. You can now go up to 10 minutes.
10 minutes!
It has to do with, obviously, with its competition YouTube. So it wants to give people a longer duration. But no, man. 10 minutes is too long.
When you told me about it earlier in the week, I thought, and I think I remember the message I sent you, I said, don't fix something that isn't broke.
Exactly. And you also said that was a thing.
They had a niche.
Being the short video service.
It works so well that YouTube started YouTube Shorts to compete with TikTok.
Exactly. Why are they doing this now?
So I had some negative feelings about that initially, and then I thought about it a little bit more. And I was on TikTok when I had my aha moment. I was watching what looked like a piece out of a documentary that was added to TikTok. And it was getting juicy, it was getting real good, and then 3 minutes ended. And they hadn't posted a part 2.
Ooh.
So I couldn't watch the rest of it, and I felt quite frustrated by that. And sometimes I find myself in a position where I'm watching a 5-part video series of 1.5 to 3 minute videos just to get the full scope of the picture. And it's not a seamless experience. They have playlists now, so some people actually put each of those parts into a playlist, and that's very helpful. Sometimes they don't, which means you got to go to the YouTube, the TikToker's feed, and And literally, you could scroll to infinity
and look
to find this one video you've watched for part 2.
Because now you need to see the rest of it. So you reckon this 10-minute thing could now take care of that problem?
Yes, but there's a problem. When you watch a video that captures you that has 6 parts, it's because it's short form video information. You've watched it for a minute and now you're interested. You know, it's captured your attention.
Yeah.
What happens when the video you swipe up into you see is 10 minutes long? Then in your mind,
it's too long.
You're already thinking, I don't have 10 minutes to watch this.
It discourages you from watching
it. And if I do I go to part... How do I pick up where I left off? That's the nice thing about parts. You can find part 2 later on.
Yeah, what if you just want to watch a few minutes and then watch the rest later? Will it pick up where you left off?
Exactly. And sometimes I'll go into TikTok and I'll be like, okay, I give myself 3 minutes. I have like 3 videos I can watch. Let's find something. Then I'll go and now I see a 10-minute video. I'm going to skip every single 10-minute video.
It discourages you from watching.
So me as a creator would be nervous
Very good point.
about creating 10-minute videos because I don't... The first impression could be negatively affected by the highlight of the video length. But if TikTok doesn't have the video length depicted in the video, then what happens? Then you might actually end up watching it. But also it comes back like, you know what I mean? The video could get lost and then you got to find it. Then you got to find where you were when you were watching it. Don't fix what isn't broke. They should have kept... I think they should have kept a minute and a half. I thought it was a really cool way. Like, before YouTube started, or as YouTube started, if TikTok had launched and it only restricted itself to 1.5 minutes, as a creator, your whole paradigm shifts in terms of your creative brainstorming. You're now not trying to convey a very simple message over a very long period of time. You're trying to convey something interesting as quickly as you can, and that is perfect for the viewer. The viewer wants that.
Yeah.
They don't want, okay, this is a 5.5 minute video, and for the first 2.5 minutes he said who he is, where he lives, subscribe to him, comment on the video, like the video.
That, yeah. You know especially if there's a sponsor thrown in as well. I just skip that. Even though I know. But, you know, talking about sponsors, I see that this article is mentioning that longer videos could actually enable TikTok creators to make more money and boost the platform's advertising business. Did you think of it that way?
Well,
and how would
my problem would be if I get an ad halfway through my 10-minute video, I'm out of there. Make no
I'm not going to wait for it unless it's like 3 seconds.
Even if it's 2.5 seconds, you're watching something and now all of a sudden it's an ad. You don't know how long it is.
It's not even after a sentence. It's somewhere in the middle of a sentence. Yeah. They do that on YouTube sometimes. And I'm like, does the creator actually know about this?
You know what I hate
Do they
about
want it
YouTube?
To be like that?
What I hate about YouTube is someone who watches YouTube on a capped internet.
Yep.
When an ad pops in the middle of your video, if the whole video has loaded already, it starts from scratch.
Yeah, exactly. When you're on capped, or maybe you're using mobile data and you're watching your usage, and then it needs to buffer all the way from the beginning again.
Because if it's a 30-minute video, it'll load the whole 30-minute video, and then 15 minutes in, it gets an ad, so it has to load the last 15 minutes again.
That's the kind of stuff that frustrates me, but it's stuff that we all notice, but we don't talk about it for some reason.
That kind of stuff makes me hover over the uninstall and delete account buttons.
Yes, and as I say, it irks me. That's the kind of stuff that irks you.
That's a brilliant descriptive word. It irks me. Speaking of TikTok, here's something very interesting. So, I believe TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook are now restricting Russian state media. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Hey, what a good move. But the more I read into this particular story, the more I felt like this is actually you want to, as a person, you want to understand the full picture. Not everyone. I mean, there are very influential people who will watch something that is propaganda based from Russian state media, and now they're convinced on some sort of opinion. But at the same time, people who like to have an informed opinion like to see all angles of a story, and now you're basically creating this one-sided European narrative that lacks any Russian narrative. And that, I feel, is a bit complex. And me as a person trying to understand what's going on, who still doesn't have a full understanding. As I understand it, Putin doesn't want to take over Ukraine. He just wants to disable their military prowess. Right? That's all I know. And this whole war that's going on I know a little bit more, but that's like the gist of it. And now you don't have access to any kind of Russian state media. You don't know what's kind of going on that side.
So how do you feel about DSTV removing the Russian Today channel? Do you
I
feel the
never
same
watched
way?
it once.
I also, it's called RT News, I think. I've seen it before when you scroll, through the channels.
Yeah.
At the bottom.
It's like when you're young and your mom's like, I'm not going to give you Brussels sprouts anymore. And you're like, no problem.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Because if you go there now, the channel's just black.
Yeah, but
It's just all black now.
it's just switched off.
It's just switched off. But apparently it wasn't a DSTV decision. Their carrier, the one who sends it to them, the feed, who sends the feed to them, that person or that company actually stopped. They were stopped for some reason.
Really?
So it's not DSTV's fault. They didn't decide that they're going to remove RT or Russia Today News. They just woke up the next morning and saw that the feed was gone because the company that sends them the feed had to stop for some reason.
How interesting.
Or was stopped for some reason.
How interesting.
Yeah, we're going to talk about DSTV just after the break. Talk about all the stuff that's happening with the Titanic.
The Titanic.
What have you got for us when we come back?
So, just before we come back, in summary, the YouTube owner Alphabet, which we actually have worked with before, Facebook owner Meta Platforms, and TikTok owner ByteDance have already restricted access to accounts run by Sputnik and Russia Today in the EU. So that's the summary of it. And it's a pretty hard enforcement, but it's happening. Then, after the break, we're going to take a look at SABC's Netflix competitor.
Oh, okay. God, I saw that. Oh my God, I can't deal.
That's crazy. And then we're also taking a look at, I think what would be good to talk about after the break is the Curiosity rover found a flower-looking object on Mars.
Okay, so at least I can have a garden when I move up to Mars.
Not quite, we'll get into that. It's not, there's going to be no greenery. And U2 2 locates glass balls on the moon.
Ooh, that's nice.
And we're going to talk about how that formed.
Yay, welcome back to techPLUS. It's good to be with you. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us, maybe there's a question you want to ask us, and then we can research it if we don't have the answer. As I said to you, just don't ask us to come and fix your computer or something. We don't do that. No call outs. As we always say, no call outs. But get in touch on the WhatsApp line in studio 081 060 1640. Kaine, listen, okay, what are we going to start with now? Is it the SABC or the DSTV?
Let's start from the top and work our way down.
Okay, where's the top?
SABC.
Okay, let's start with the SABC.
Okay, so SABC is coming out with a Netflix competitor. And immediately upon hearing this, I was confident but skeptical.
No, I just laughed.
To say the least. So the South African Broadcasting Corporation, or SABC, began testing its digital streaming platform on Tuesday, the 1st of March, and is expected to go live in the third quarter of the current financial year, so Q3 of this year. This is according to SABC COO Eon Kaine, who explained that the broadcaster had observed a decline in audience primarily due to the global trend to shift to digital platforms. The decline in audience is multi-casunational. The global trend there is much we do not know about it, and they feel like it's not so much a loss of viewership, but a migration of people from traditional TV watching to streaming TV watching.
Yeah.
Just as a traditional loss. So they're feeling like SABC isn't losing viewers, that people are just choosing to watch in a different way, the digital migration. He also went on to say that I think the big one for us is not so much an audience loss, but an audience migration to digital. Right now, we do not have our own digital platform. The SABC first announced that it was planning on launching an over-the-top OTT platform in October 2020, dubbed SABC iPlayer. The broadcaster intends its streaming service to compete against players like Netflix and Spotify. They're like two very different things. Incredibly different things. But nonetheless, so we're talking about a Netflix Spotify competitor. Someone falls in the middle of Netflix and Spotify.
There's no way.
It's so crazy.
It's like farting in a thunderstorm.
according to him, it should launch in the current financial year. He says, we have gone to market. We are in the final stages of assessing the responses of that, and we will have our own OTT platform in the market by the third quarter of the current financial year. The SABC began its pilot phase of testing, as I said, on March 1st. He also said, we started testing yesterday the software that will enable us to actually commercialize the OTT platform. So talking about advertising and money generation and things like that. Not just our own, but third-party platforms as well that we are using. We'll be using it as a pilot phase for this month, and we will go live from next month. South Africans can also expect new channels from the broadcaster this year. What that means is we are going to be launching additional channels within the new financial year, he said, but we are also changing the process of acquiring content for our channels. He says we are optimizing that, and he added it's a big game changer. Now, the thing that really stands out for me is he says you will see a lot more compelling content coming through on our existing platform, but also the new channels that we are going to be launching that will also be available on our OTT platform. He added, we will be aggressively playing in the digital space. It's very hard because he's talking about we're going to have new channels, we're going to have new and exciting content, but he doesn't really say what new channels, what new and exciting content. And that for me is odd, because it kind of makes you feel like maybe they don't know. Maybe they have a direction, but they don't necessarily have this meat to the bone yet.
Yeah.
And to compete, to be totally frank, to compete with Netflix from the SABC channel program list, that is a uphill battle.
No, look, Kaine, I'm just going to be honest. It is impossible. It is not. You cannot do it. There's no way. What are you going to put on that streaming service? See on the lawn and reruns of Isadingo.
Oh no, ETV tonight.
Come on,
tonight on E.
That's
on E streaming tonight.
Hey, Kaine, I'm sorry. Hey guys, I mean, I don't want to shoot down anybody's ideas or dreams, but maybe they see that as a life raft for the SABC, kind of, they'll all get on that thing.
I just feel it's safe to say that 1 in every 500 people pay their TV license. And if they're charging 15 Rand a subscription to the streaming platform, which they're not, I have no disclosed value to add to that. But let's say they charge 15 Rand, they're still going to earn more than they do from TV license collections. It's just a no-brainer. If 5 million people in South Africa have a Netflix account that they pay for every month, that's a full Netflix account. Do you know how much money they're making every single month? 800 million Rand.
Of course.
Right?
And that's why they've got a budget to make proper shows. Like Ozark.
Yes. Do you know how many subscribers Netflix has?
No.
Netflix has 230 million subscribers.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Times that by how much one subscription costs, and you get 36,800,000,000 Rand per month.
That's why you can make good TV shows.
Exactly.
And that's not there's no way for the SABC to access that kind of money, even if we all paid.
But Netflix costs 160 Rand, so if they cost 16 Rand and got 10 times less people, they're still going to aggregate more than they do from getting TV licenses. Yeah. And I think that's the motivating
Because let's be honest, nobody is paying the TV licenses. Are you paying yours?
No. And
have you got a TV?
I bought a TV in 2017, sold it in 2018, and still have to pay the TV license for every single month.
Do you know how much you owe them now?
It's like 1,000 Rand or something like that.
I think I'm now at 3K or something.
I don't know where to.
They keep threatening me.
I mean, I will pay it, but I don't know what I'm paying for.
No, you're paying for the receiver inside your TV to receive a TV signal.
That I don't use.
That you don't use. So there's actually no point. They know that.
With the receiver and a TV without the receiver, I'll choose the TV without the receiver.
Yeah, that would be just a screen. Basically just a screen that you can hook up with an HDMI.
That's why you don't have to pay TV licenses on monitors,
just
like you said.
Just get a freaking My Box like I did.
Yeah, on a monitor.
I've never seen a SABC channel in years. It's never shown on my TV.
Yeah.
Just stream, man.
But we're going to be following this story. And we'll see how it develops.
Wait. There's something we need to do. You know what we need to do, right?
Oh, no.
Wait.
Is it time for DSTV now? What has DSTV done this week?
Okay, so apart from removing the Russian channel, which isn't really their doing, so I'm not going to
fault them on that one.
Yeah, too much. They're losing 4 e-media channels. By the way, we're not affiliated with the e-media. But MultiChoice is losing 4 e-media channels from April, and it's no joke. And funny enough, that's when the DSTV prices will go up as well. So people will lose the following channels in case you watched it, because I don't know who watched it, but I suppose there was a lot of people, especially in the lower bouquets of DSTV. E-movies will be disappearing. E-movies extra will be disappearing. E-extra will be disappearing, and E-tunes, that was one for the kids. They're all getting the axe. Looks like the channel's carriage agreement wasn't renewed for those channels. However, ENCA, the DSTV News channel, and also the normal eTV channel will still stay on the bouquet. But E-movies extra, E-extra, and E-tunes will be falling away. Have you ever watched any of those channels?
No, I haven't.
I think they're also on OpenView.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are channels, they don't really have fresh content. It's all reruns, and it's basically the leftovers of ETV that they spill into those channels.
And what's concerning is when we're talking about SABC's Netflix competitor.
Yeah, so now maybe they're sending some of those maybe they're sending some of those shows their way.
Oh, I don't know.
Because there used to be a channel called SABC Encore on DSTV a couple of years ago, and there they also had all the reruns, all the old SABC shows, and DSTV also eventually said no, we're not renewing that.
It just feels like, what were you going to do with all this old stuff that we can't really show? Let's just put it somewhere, and that's how those TV channels came to be.
The people are not, you're right, but the people are not happy. Some of the people on the lower end packages who pay a little less per month to DSTV, they're not happy because they actually enjoyed those e-channels.
Well, because
now they're disappearing.
There would only there would be a degree of quality there for the lower paying.
And now they're losing it. So what do you think those people are going to do now? Also cancel.
Netflix.
Yeah,
it costs
also cancel it.
Half the price.
I think what's stopping them from having Netflix is they don't have a proper access to internet.
But when you're not paying DSTV, you have enough money to buy some solution to internet.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Even if it's mobile data.
Yeah, you have a solution.
But please, the best thing you will ever do, and they didn't pay me to say this, is get a My Box. It is on Take-A-Lot.
Okay,
the little TV box. So if you don't have a smart TV and a dumb TV, if your TV isn't smart, just get a box. You connect it. All you need is one cable. It's an HDMI cable. It goes into your TV and into the box.
And you have a remote.
And that's it. You've got a remote.
And that's how you control it.
And it's amazing. And it runs through the App Store. You update the apps. You can still watch DSTV on there. However, from the 22nd of March, they're still putting in those restrictions of just one person watching per subscription. So, like I said last week, if your gran is watching her telenovelas, you want to watch sport, gonna have to flip a dice.
I have a theory on DSTV. I feel like what they're doing right now is they're like, right, we need to engineer our service so that we make money, and if no one buys it, we close the doors.
Could be.
And it's like this hard decision that's being made because it's nonsensical. We're like, oh no, DSTV is in trouble. Oh, they're increasing their prices. Oh, they're removing channels.
It's like they're doing all the wrong stuff.
You know what I mean? Like, it's all the wrong direction.
Could it be sabotage?
It seems like it. Like, you would open up a book that says what not to do to up your cable satellite
and then do
exactly
what
they've done. 1 to 10. Number 11 still pending.
What's that gonna be?
Yeah, it's gonna
probably removing the sport.
Yeah.
That's the last straw. That's pulling the plug.
That would be absolutely devastating. No ways. So, do you want to hear about what we were talking about regarding continuity on Mars, finding a flower lookalike?
Yes.
And Yo-22 finding some glass balls on the moon.
Yes, but so it just looks like a flower, but obviously it can't be an actual flower because how's it growing there?
Yes, so NASA's Curiosity rover came across something curious in its expeditions last month. That'd be, according to NASA's Jet Propulsion Labs, a flower. It's not an actual flower, obviously. If there were photosynthesis taking place off-world, it would certainly be a more visible announcement. Besides the other events dominating the news, plant life on Mars would be a world-changing subject. But I must say, analyzing this picture that NASA's Curiosity rover took, it looks a bit more like seaweed or coral than it does a flower. It looks very coralistic.
It looks coral, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. It looks like something that would come from the sea.
Like coral-esque.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a flower.
No. But what it actually...
But it's very pretty, actually.
I would advise someone to just go onto Google and have a look at this photo because it's very interesting. But actually what causes this is water that moves through rocks that have conduits in.
Okay.
Minerals
so it shapes it.
get displaced in those corridors where water passes through rock and sediment forms, and that is the sediment without the rock.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, it's pretty.
It's very nice looking.
It's probably the prettiest thing you'll see on Mars.
Yeah.
But tell me about your glass balls.
So, here we go. The China National Space Administration, or CNSA, has also located something strange. Not too far away on the moon, its U-2 lunar rover has sent back images it snapped of the lunar surface. Normally, there's just like dust and rocks, but now there is also glass to look at. It's naturally occurring glass. And it is naturally occurring glass is an actual thing. It really does happen. It's made here on Earth by various things like volcanoes, lightning strikes, asteroids or meteor strikes. It forms glass. Like you've seen people, potentially you might have seen it in a movie or in a documentary or just heard about it. People stick steel rods into sand at the beach when there's lightning storm. The lightning strikes the rod and a piece of glass is remaining under the sand. You can dig away the sand. You'll have
I didn't even know.
Structure of some kind.
Hey, that's cool.
It's very unique. Some people sell it as art. Yeah.
Free glass.
Free glass until there's a guy that finds it there and sells it at his curio store for like 15,000 rand. Then it's very not free glass. Yeah. Very good looking not free glass.
I didn't know that lightning actually gives us glass.
Yeah. So in this latter explanation, that is most likely to blame for these up to 2.5 centimeter glass spheres sighted by U2 in the von Karman crater. The professor of the university said such glass globules should be commonly produced by ancient impact basins on the moon, so their compositions and isotopic ages will be highly valuable to understand early impact history. There are likely to be loads of glass marbles littering the moon, which is a bizarre thing to think about, right?
Yeah, all these glass balls.
Yeah, like a ton of glass balls.
Pretty.
Meteor strikes from space are common on the lunar surface, and these orbs are likely created by most of them. The Apollo astronauts even brought a few back from their mission to the lunar surface, but Zhao says the existence of these space marbles is good news for potential building material on the lunar surface. The first discovery of macro-sized translucent glass globules on the moon confirms that the moon has an excellent raw material to manufacture glass with good light emitting qualities. It could start with something as simple as space glass houses, and that sort of thing, which they could manufacture on the moon if there would happen to be a base there. But I never for 1 second thought there was glass balls on the moon. That eluded my thought.
Also, that lightning thing you just told me, I honestly didn't know.
And the funny thing is, if I was the scientist and I saw, oh my word, there's a glass ball on the moon, I'm not going to think, oh, naturally occurring. I'm like, aliens exist. It's fact now. I'm gonna go announce it to the public, but apparently they're just naturally occurring, which is quite interesting.
Sure.
From a big asteroid strike, glass balls are formed.
Wow. Kaine, now before we go to our next music break, just how expensive is a rebrand? We all know that's pretty expensive, but how much is it when you are Facebook and you want to change your name to Meta?
How expensive? It's incredibly expensive, actually. You got to create quite a lot of publicity around it, but it's actually less expensive for someone like Facebook than a startup that would be 1 to 3 years old. And I'll explain to you, because the startup with its name one, its first name, we call it name one, they go out, they raise funding, they make publications, they gain awareness, they gain hype, people know them by their name, people recognize their branding, people understand them, the money was well spent. Now that same startup changes its name to Name 2. If a person wasn't there for the announcement of the change from Name 1 to Name 2, you have effectively disappeared from existence.
Yeah, I'm basically starting over.
Yeah, you've completely disappeared.
You're so right. Wow, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
And that's pretty expensive.
So for Facebook being in existence for as long as it has, it obviously it wasn't that expensive.
Its weight of its name, of who it is, carried the name change very well.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely. But you can't get away with that really if you're just 1, 2, 3 years old, as you said.
And when PE became Quebec, I was reading about how expensive it was implement this name change.
Did you see some of the signs on the roads? It still says Port Elizabeth.
Really?
They haven't changed it yet. Somebody said to me it's just in case they change their minds and change it to something else.
There's going to be foreigners here. They're like, we're following the GPS to Quebec. They see Port Elizabeth. They're like, are we going in the wrong way? 100%.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's so odd.
Where'd the
money go? They had to have the money in a box in order to declare that they're going to change the name. And then the money went from the box to ?
Yeah. Well, anyway.
What happened with Facebook?
Anyway, just before we get to music, rebranding from Facebook to Meta has reportedly cost the company.
Can I guess?
Yes.
That was close. I know it's a 4 or something because I heard you say.
Okay, in dollars, eh?
$40 million.
No.
More.
$500 billion. Kaine, you're under budget.
2 Jeff Bezos is what it cost.
No, man, I can't believe it.
That's incredible.
So $500 billion to change the name from Facebook to Meta. And we're all still calling it Facebook anyway. Nobody. I've never seen anybody saying to me, "Hey, use your Meta." So it's like that.
No.
Nobody's saying Meta.
Meta is too closely associated to metaverse. Some people don't even know that money, metaverse that's being created by Facebook is a part of Facebook. That's how bad the name change actually is. People don't actually understand what the heck Meta even is truly.
Exactly.
They have an idea, and when you tell someone what's the metaverse, they say VR. Guarantee it. Final answer. You know what I mean? And it's actually much more sophisticated than that. I just wonder if that money was really worth dropping $500 billion.
I think that's a waste of money. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg could at least take some of it to change his hair, you know.
And who did they pay $500 billion? Like, was it lots of small people?
It's not like signs you're changing. Yeah. What exactly did you change?
I mean, you got to change all your public-facing media. That's a big stint. But that can't... I mean, if I go to a media agency and say I have 5,000 things that I want to change and they go $500 billion, I'll be like, no.
No, I think it's way over budget.
Must be something else.
Apparently that's so.
Maybe it's also computating an amount that is putting into the development of the metaverse and things like that.
You're right.
Not just the name change.
Thank you for that. I think that explains it to me. I'm happy with that answer. I'm happy with that answer. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. Because children are starving, you know. Kaine, thank you. Let's get back to some more music. Hey, our next song is from a girl. She comes from Plettenberg Bay. Her name is Alex Solomon.
That's a familiar surname.
Yeah. And the song is called Ex-Girlfriend. It's her brand new single. It's actually very nice. You want to hear it?
Let's hear it. Put him on.
The tale-old story. Get with a new boy and he comes with a stalker too. An obsessed ex-girlfriend. Finding on my socials, liking an old picture too. Girl, I'm trying to practice some spirituality. Let my soul guide me, but you let my ego get the best of me. I find it a little embarrassing that you keep an eye on what I do. Do you have a thing for self-deprecation? 'Cause I'm so much hotter than you. I don't believe in putting other women down. My higher self tells me she's sure you're lovely, and if we spin the story round, we could be friends. But if we were, I'd say use a fake profile. She won't see you stalking her. I find it a little embarrassing that you keep an eye on what I do. Do you have a thing for self-deprecation? 'Cause I'm so much hotter than you. You must be a sucker for pain. Searching my name, oh baby shame. You must be a sucker for pain.
It's Alex Solomon with ex-girlfriend music from Plettenberg Bay in the Garden Route. We've got a lot of talented people in this area and in this country. She was singing about an algorithm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't like the algorithms. It screws up everything for me nowadays.
What, on TikTok? Or what?
No, Facebook.
Oh, Facebook?
Yeah, did you see, what is it called, without paying something and you post something, is it your organic reach?
Yes.
Did you see how small that is now? I read an article that when you post something, 1 in every 19 of your followers will see it.
Cheap.
1 in every 19 of your followers will see it. So if you have like, say, 5,000 followers on Facebook, about a max of 100 people will see your post.
That's great.
That's actually discouraging to small business owners.
But it's especially bad on Facebook for businesses. It's especially bad because first things first, Facebook prioritizes person-to-person content.
That's it. So
Secondly,
your aunt and her photos of her dog and whatever will show first before it shows the businesses.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
And
makes
that
sense,
makes
I
a big
suppose.
problem, which means you're forced to pay to earn as a business on
So
Facebook.
you need to have a dedicated budget every month for Facebook ads, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or sponsored content, as they call it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without it, your organic reach is not going to carry you through.
No.
But even if you pay for that content, you need to have a plan. You can't just boost a post. You need to have a plan, a content plan.
You can't just boost one post for the whole month and be like, we're going to be famous tomorrow, boys.
Yeah.
That's not going to
Kaine,
work.
we must actually dedicate a show to that because you've got a wealth of knowledge on that.
Yeah, we can.
And give people, because I've spoken to a few people who started Facebook pages, and obviously you invite all your friends, but it is almost impossible to get, they don't get any response. Some of their posts, it doesn't have any engagement. No likes, no comments.
Yeah, no, a Facebook page in actuality is more used as a business directory. You should look at it like a pamphlet for your business.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, a person who goes to your Facebook isn't going to find it from randomly browsing Facebook. They're going to find it because they had intent to go there, which means the information that needs to be there needs to either sell a product, upsell a product, or inform the person about how to acquire the product. That should be the core basis of your Facebook page. And then anything that you want to do to create awareness, maybe a promotional video, advertisement video, you post that and just run it. You run it as an ad and you bring people back to your business, which has that core resources there available for them to figure out what product they want, how to get them to be upsold on that product and buy more. That's where you should be focusing your time because no one's just going to come there organically.
Wow, that's good advice.
But we can put a whole show towards this kind of stuff, maybe on a Tuesday or something like that.
I think so. We'll call it Tech Plus Plus.
Tech double plus, Tech plus squared, or something
or
like
Tech
that.
Plus Extra or something, and then we'll what do you call it? Shelve all the current news, keep it for when we're on now, and then we'll just do on social media because I think a lot of people will appreciate that so much, especially with your knowledge.
Absolutely. Are you an Apple fan?
Yes, an apple a day.
An apple
Keeps
a day.
the doctor away. That's the only apple I really like.
Not the one with the bite out of it.
No. Just the edible one in my fruit bowl.
So Apple's next launch is set for March 8th, which will be showcasing their new iPhones SE, their new iPads, and the new iOS 15.4. It's going to be a live event. The world's most valuable tech company is about to hold a big product announcement event. Apple's first major event of the year doesn't grab attention the same way its September one does, but it's an opportunity for the company to highlight everything else it offers. And Apple's expected to hold a major event in later this year to announce free software upgrades coming in the fall of America alongside the rumored next iPhone. So that's an event that you can go watch in a live stream event. They sent out their invites to media groups and stuff like that on the 1st of March. If you're an Apple fan, definitely worth tuning in there to see what's new and exciting and in store for your device portfolio. Then, did you know Apple has also halted all product sales in Russia?
I'm sure.
You cannot buy any Apple product in Russia at the moment.
No apples for you.
People in Russia can go to the Apple store, and if they try and check out for delivery, it tells them delivery is not available in your area. So they've halted all product sales there, and I think it's going to cause some... There's a lot of people actually taking acts towards restricting amount of services available in Russia. For example, the post office in South Africa has now suspended all mail services to Russia and Ukraine
I didn't even know they send mail there.
You know what I didn't know? Every year, you as a citizen are entitled to 2 tax-free gifts from overseas. Right?
Oh.
So someone overseas can send you 2 tax-free gifts, but there's a
Per year.
condition.
What's the condition?
It can't be above 1,400 rand.
Oh God!
Which is like
And also
$80.
You have no guarantee. you have no guarantee that it's gonna get delivered to you anyway. It's probably
No.
gonna get lost. So
No.
that's.
But that I thought was very interesting.
It
I
is
did not
very
know that.
interesting, yes. But I didn't know that the post office actually delivers there. I mean, how long does it take to get there? Like 2 years or what?
Yeah.
What?
3 to 7 years. No, I'm joking. They say it takes 10 working days.
Ugh, please.
that is the
you can't even
biggest-
send a letter to Cape Town in 10 days. So
They
where?
say it takes up to 10 days, but it can also happen in 24 hours if you use the special postal service, which will make sure it arrives there within 24 hours in the target
In
country.
Russia?
No, not in Russia. No Russia.
Oh.
But there are like 80 countries that are able to be air freighted, or 30 countries that are air freightable. It means you can send via air, and then there's 80 total countries that are ground fleetable. So you can send via the
I wonder
ground.
when Vladimir is going to stop everything now, because they're really disabling that country. All services are being stopped to that country. Did you see they even took out all the sport events? The Russians aren't allowed to take part in UEFA and FIFA and all that stuff. The rugby, they're not allowed to play or anything. So they're totally disabling that country now. I mean, what's the Russian ruble?
Yeah,
What is that worth right now? Probably nothing.
that's a good question. Should we find out?
I saw
quickly?
that, last time I checked, it really went down. It wasn't worth much.
Ruble is what it's called, hey?
I think so. The currency.
It's made a
Obviously,
big
it took
drop.
a very big knock.
It took a big knock.
Massive knock, eh?
Yeah, it's like it used to be on the 26th of Feb. It was about on the 18th of February. It was about 20 cents per ruble. And now it's about 13 cents per ruble. Since the 28th
It's a
of
bit of
Feb.
yeah, definitely a bit of a
Since the
bit of
18th
a
of
gap.
Feb, apologies.
Bit of a drop there.
So it's almost 50% down in
Sure.
regards to its value in proportion to the South African rand. It's definitely they're definitely putting some pressure on Russia. I think they're having at least a complex time at the moment trying to figure out what to do and how to actually handle it. But then Ukraine has just announced. There's 2 things. One, Ukraine has announced that they're targeting Russian power grids and railways with hackers.
Yo.
They're hacking into these subsystems and things like that. But more than that, there was a video released by Anonymous which specified they're also doing the same thing. And other foreign hackers have also said that they're jumping in and trying to do things. And Russia's had a few kind of mishaps at the moment. At the train stations, they disabled their ticketing system.
They
So
even
tickets
went
had to be
to visit
handwritten
Chernobyl.
out. Handwritten out. Train
handwritten.
tickets,
Oh my word,
handwritten
really?
out, yeah. Then there was on like petrol gauges. It said, screw you, Putin, in Russian.
Oh, also on the
petrol
signs,
gauge.
also on the street signs.
On the street
I saw
signs
that,
as well. So there's quite a lot happening.
And he's still not giving. He's still not giving in.
No, he just wants to disable Ukraine's military. But I'm going to be a conspiracy theorist here for a second and say this is a very good distraction for something else. If you're busy with something else somewhere else, this half-assed attack on Ukraine.
Everybody's just watching that.
because they haven't
what's
been
happening in the
particularly
background.
good at it. Like, their ground forces have been disabled. They've been leaving tanks lying around in the middle of Ukraine that Ukrainians have come and grabbed and possessed for themselves. The ground troops are trying to infiltrate via, they're getting Ukrainian phones and trying to communicate with each other through there. But Ukraine has obviously picked up on it and is monitoring that as well. So their attack from a ground level has not been so successful. So now they're switching over to air. And that's also, there was the Ghost of Kiev. I don't know if you heard about him. There was a Ukrainian fighter pilot who was flying and has taken down like 7 Russian aircraft, but then he was shot down. And they thought he was dead for like 6 hours, but he was actually still alive.
Wow.
And now he's back and flying again. He's taken down like another 3 planes.
Yo, what a guy.
So it's not I would think Russia would engage very strongly on the enemy, whereas this feels like it's kind of half-assed. I don't know if it's or very well defended. Maybe Ukraine is just doing a very good job of defense, but it would be a very good distraction for
You're
someone
right,
else.
but Kane, I mean, isn't it interesting how COVID is taking a back seat now during all this?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's even talking about it.
No.
It's like it doesn't exist. Like you see some photos in countries they're no longer wearing masks or anything.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's over.
No, it is.
We're just talking about the war.
And when was the last time South Africa was on strict lockdown?
It's
I
been a
think
while.
it's been like a month or two, maybe since the beginning of the year.
And there's even talk of our president doing away with the masks, no longer making it mandatory.
That would be welcomed.
So I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But anyway, gosh, I see we're almost out of time. I just want to also mention quickly, I think you will find this very interesting. MTN, with their brand new ugly logo.
Oh, no.
And they updated the apps and everything, so that logo's everywhere on my phone now as well. I'm like, oh god, it's terrible. They bought 144 plots of digital land in Africa Rare Metaverse Ubuntu land for an undisclosed sum. Yes,
No.
and they even have pictures of their land that they
No.
purchased in the
Really?
Metaverse.
Africa Rare
Who knows?
Metaverse. I've never heard of that.
Why would you do that? And how much did they spend?
I have a thought. If I was Africa Metaverse, now I don't know them, I haven't looked into them. I'll definitely do some research and we'll talk about it next week. I think that'll be an interesting story to talk about.
Definitely.
But if Africa Rare or that particular project went to MTN and said, we'll give you this much land if you create a public story about buying this amount of land, we'll give it to you at a super good discount, and they bought it, it's very good marketing for them. It's like, if you're launching a crypto project and MTN has bought land in your crypto project, that's a big statement.
Okay.
You know, it's
but,
a very big marketing statement.
Why buy it in an unknown metaverse?
Because metaverse advertising is beginning to be popular now. And I don't know if you can quite conceptualize what metaverse advertising is, but it's the advertising, it's physical advertising within a virtual world.
Yeah.
So if you are in a virtual stadium and you're watching a sport game in VR and that's your metaverse experience, then the advertisement that's on the field is metaverse advertising. Or the mascot that's dancing around, or the stall on the side of the stadium selling flippin' iPhone apps. Whatever it is, that's metaverse
cool.
advertising.
Selling apps.
So
in the virtual world.
yeah.
So you walk there with your avatar and you go buy an app.
You can buy a new hat for your digital character, something like that.
Oh wow, that's so
But
cool.
advertising in the metaverse is becoming a thing, and
Yeah.
owning real estate in a metaverse with lots of players allows you to do quite a number of advertising efforts. So it could be MTN's attempt at creating a marketing channel within the metaverse and securing a ground floor position for that advertising. How much land did they buy?
Well, according to this article, it wasn't that big. Let me just get it here. I just had the dimensions of the purchase in the virtual world. 144 plots in Ubuntu land, an area of 12 by 12 meters.
So 140 12 by 12 meters.
144 plots. And they're all 12 by 12
one
meters.
plot is
I don't know.
12 square meters. 144 times 12, 100 times 12 is 1,000. It's about 1,700 square meters of land
Is that a lot?
in a virtual world. You would have to look at how many plots there are in total in Ubuntu land to determine proportionally how much land that is. But I mean, it's still a fair amount of space potentially for advertising. I could see that. They could.
So do you think it's just an investment for them for now?
I think
it's
so.
going to pay off in many years from now.
They
when
might
that's
even
big.
have a tech support virtual world where you go and you get tech support for your MTN contract within a virtual world.
Okay,
There's
well, that's
limitless possibilities. Very interesting purchase from me. I don't fault them on it, but it would have been nice
Yeah.
if they bought it in a very famous place like Decentraland with lots of international, but they're an African business.
it probably makes
they
more
go for
sense,
the
yeah.
African metaverse. It makes
So
sense.
right now it's kind of, it looks like a waste of money, but it could potentially in 10 years or so it could be a good one.
It could be a little bit early. It could be a little bit early
Yeah,
because
I
you
think it's
don't
a bit
know which
early.
African metaverse is going to succeed.
The one
What
that's gonna
means
take
that
off, yeah.
Africa, what is it called? African Rare or Afri-Rare or something like that.
Yeah.
If that's successful, then it's a very good decision. If it's not successful, it's not a very good decision. It's difficult to tell, but it's probably down that direction of preparing for a potential marketing exercise or customer acquisition campaign within the metaverse. That would be my secure guess.
Kane, we're almost going to get thrown out here, but just before we do, when last did you visit a Ster-Kinekor theatre?
To watch the new Spider-Man on December 17th, 2021.
So last year?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's pretty recent.
It was a terrible experience. The volume was low.
What?
Yeah, the projector was slightly skewed.
No!
It was slightly rotated. The
Are you
movie
serious?
was brilliant. It was a brilliant movie, fantastic. But I was like, why is it so soft?
No, I go for the sound. So how's the sound so
It was
bad?
very soft.
Maybe it's just because the stuff's not being used anymore, and now it's all screwed
Like
up.
someone forgot the default setting. He's like, I'm sure it was 12, but it might have been 21. I don't know. Let's stick with 12.
Yeah, somebody said, when was it, man? I can't remember. I think last year they went to the movies, and then something showed on the screen that wasn't supposed to show on the screen. I don't know if it was a Windows update or something. And it actually gave it away. It's like, what are you guys using to show the movie?
Yeah, what?
Or there was a logo or something that popped up that wasn't supposed to be there, and it just gave it away.
That is
where they downloaded it from or something.
Oh my word!
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember now.
I would love to find.
There was
that
a story.
out.
I must find that out.
But
anyway,
it wasn't such a great experience, and there was a chair in between each person.
Okay, and then like 200 rand of popcorn.
You could only buy your snacks when you booked your movie ticket from home.
Okay.
And they didn't sell like, okay, I want one popcorn, one soda. They had like 4 different types of
those
combos, and then
combos,
the large
yeah.
version of those combos and the extra large version of those combos. And you had to buy the snacks when you were booking. You couldn't go buy snacks in the movie house.
Why?
I don't know.
Nobody working there anymore. What?
I don't know.
But anyway, so because we all know how expensive it is to, take your popcorn in. So I know people who pretend to be pregnant and take in their snacks.
I think my friend took in like one meal from McDonald's and one meal from Burger King, like in the set under his shirt, tucked away in the hoodie.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. And I mean, you can't blame
buy
them.
snacks there. I'm gonna do that if I can't buy snacks there and I forgot to buy online.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not gonna be like, okay, yeah, I'll sit here in complete utter silence with no snacks watching a movie for 2 hours.
But you know that they entered business rescue last year, okay? So now they could receive funding, which they desperately need, because, I mean, remember with the lockdowns, nobody went to watch movies. They were practically closed for, a year or two?
Yeah.
They could receive funding in the form of 250 million rand, following a proposal from investors Blantyre Capital and Greenpoint Capital. The facility will fund future operations, facilitate the exit of business rescue, and then also refinance the existing capital structure. So I think that could be a nice lifeline to keep Ster-Kinekor alive.
Yeah.
I was really worried that the cinemas would close.
Because Blockbuster went.
Exactly. But let's be honest, it's not the same streaming a movie at home than the experience of going to the movies, the lights dim, and you get the pictures, the trailers at the beginning,
audio,
and all that stuff, and that smell of the popcorn, and your friend next to you. And
that's why I was so disappointed when I was watching in the video almost like it wasn't enlarged fully, when they had, like it wasn't fully fitted on the canvas.
Can I ask you where was this? Where was this?
Ster-Kinekor George.
Is
it was
that
the new
one
Spider-Man
in the mall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I wasn't disappointed. I thought it was like almost there, but not really. 70% of what I remember.
Yeah.
And it would have just been nice if they had like made those it probably would have taken the guy 15 minutes to properly line up the projector.
Yeah.
3.5 minutes to set the audio.
It's probably somebody who's not experienced.
Yeah.
They probably retrenched a lot of people. So the guy who switched it on didn't know what he was doing.
Spinning.
Well, hopefully with all that millions they're getting now, they can fix their skew projector. Kaine, I can't believe it. We actually went over time today.
Yeah.
But it's been such a good show, and we also had so much to talk about. It's actually been a pretty busy week for technology.
Absolutely.
Being the first week of March. Who knows what's going to happen later this month?
No, definitely. I'm looking forward to next week. I think there's a lot in store for this year still. I think we're just warming up.
You're right.
I look forward to coming back here next week. And
same here. And thank you always for coming with your, as I always say, your fountain of knowledge and spilling it all over the studio.
Yeah,
nice.
No problem. And thank you to all of our listeners who take the time to listen in and ask questions.
It sounded pretty weird,
everything.
Actually, that fountain thing.
Fountain of knowledge?
Yeah.
No, I don't mind that. That sounds fine.
Okay.
I'll put that on my name tag.
Fountain.
Pro KD Radio, Fountain of Knowledge.
But it sounded funny when I said spilling it all over the studio and all that stuff. Something sounded off there. I don't know why I said that, but anyway.
Well, have yourself a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you next week.
And you, looking forward to it already.
All right. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, Kaine.